Hello, welcome to tonight's talk. That's subject matter. I'd like to talk about learning to read Japanese and what I did and what I recommend. First of all, when you begin reading Japanese, katakana or hiragana, the two writing systems, the phonetic writing systems, I suggest you make flashcards. You make a set of flashcards and make them by hand rather than by them because that'll help you remember them. But yeah, you can remember all of the hiragana. There's 52 or 53 of them, and katakana 52 or 53 of them. You can learn those in about 30 minutes, right? You're not going to, they're not going to stick with you in 30 minutes, but after practicing and practicing, you will be able to recognize them in 30 minutes. I promise. If you concentrate and stick to it. So 30 minutes one day, 30 minutes the next day, and then you've got a basic understanding of them, and then you won't be able to write them right away, all of them right away, or they won't stick in your brain right away. But as you continue to learn them and relearn them, learn them, relearn them. That's how things finally stick. We learn something, and then we start recognizing it, and then we keep relearning it until it actually sticks. And then when it comes to learning kanji, here's my recommendation: find a book, a subject. This is what I did. I found a book that I knew well in English, that I knew well, and I got a Japanese version of it. So I already knew what it was all about, basically everything was about. And also, I recommend, for me, it was a lot easier reading Japanese from left to right, like we do in, in English, rather than left to right, rather than right to left and vertical. I can read it, but it makes it so much easier in learning the characters for me personally. Reading them from from left to right. So start out, find something that you know through and through already, and then what I did, I don't know, I'd read about 15 minutes a night, and just circle everything I didn't already know. And this will be slow going at first. You won't get very far. You maybe get a paragraph in 15 minutes, right? And then, so read 15 minutes, circle everything you don't recognize or understand or know how to read. The phonetic stuff you will obviously know. Japanese is a mixture of the phonetic symbols and the Chinese inherited kanji symbols, right? So you will be able to read part of it anyways right away after you learn the hiragana, katakana. But, just take it off in bite-sized pieces, 15 minutes a night, and then spend about 30 minutes afterwards looking up, and this might take some getting used to at first, how to look up characters, and maybe with a computer it can be, you can type it in phonetically, or I should say, yeah. Anyways, look up the characters, and that's probably going to be the most difficult part. You have to learn how to count strokes and approximate the strokes and things like that. And I can make another video about that, but just the basic concept. So maybe spend the next 30 minutes looking up just what you just circled, right? And this is the character for car. This is the character for, whatever. And then the next day, and never go back. Never go back is my recommendation. Just plow forward. Keep going forward. And I did this in Japan when I was a young man. I started a book that I knew through and through in English. I started reading in Japanese. And at the very beginning, I was circling almost every character. Didn't get, maybe 2 sentences, maybe a paragraph. The next day, move forward, and circle all the characters. Circle them all. By the time I got to the end of that book, I could read all of the kanji. And they say there's about 1,800, what do they call them, practical use characters that I think you need to read a newspaper. In other words, newspaper. There are in Chinese characters a lot more Chinese characters out there that the Japanese rarely ever use. But anyways, if you've 18,000 characters, you can read just about it. You can read a newspaper. And of course, anyways, I started the book. By the time I got to the end of the book, it maybe take me, I don't know, 6 months. I can't remember exactly, but I could read the kanji. And that is a segue into my next segue of how to improve your listening comprehension and how to speak Japanese, or get good at speaking it. All right. But I knew early on that my Japanese was not going to get very good if I didn't have a basic understanding of the written language, because it allows you to assimilate new words when you see the characters and the kanji, and they're usually made up of lots of some smaller, simpler characters. The more complicated ones are, like they have a radical, it might be a tree. So immediately you think, okay, this is a plant or something. And then some smaller characters on the right, each one of those meaning something. They may not directly, at some point they may have been related to the meaning of that word, but anyways, it helps you to assimilate those words. It's like having the more hooks you get in your garage, the more you can hang on them. The more tools you can hang on them, right? And so these kanji are like little hooks. Put it in your, what do they call it? That particle board that you put up in your garage, and you have hooks coming out of it. If you've got nothing to hook your word onto, it's very hard to remember. But by learning the characters, it's like having all these hooks hung up there, and boom, I've got it. Boom, I've got it. Boom, I've got it. Boom. But if you don't learn the written language, it's like trying to hang your tools on that particle board wall in your garage with no hooks in it. So anyways, that's my advice, and this has gone too long already. I wanted to leave that with you, and please comment if it helps you, or if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.